Only mode.
Good afternoon, good evening, good night, good morning, wherever in the world you are. Welcome to the Global Associate Meeting. This is Dan Anderson, your CEO, and I'm very, very happy to be hosting the call. This is, as we have done now for some 5, almost 6 years, a weekly pulse beat, a weekly update on where we are, news and updates, and kind of just us staying in touch with all of you. And I'm very, very proud of the record that we have here of keeping this going despite everything. And we've only had like 1 or 2 days off at Christmas one year when the dates fell on this public holiday and what have you. So very, very cool. So welcome to the call. I note that we have people from all over the world. So I should be doing this partially in French and in Swedish and in Slovenian and in Russian and in Urdu and Arabic. But alas, we will have to stick to just English. Now, the agenda is sort of fairly much the same stuff as we always have, that we talk about. We're just promoting, that we're pushing at the in the last few weeks. But we also have a real sense of fresh air in the business at the moment, because we've had to deal with some challenging situations, and we've certainly had a tough year so far. And on a personal level, I've certainly had to fight and battle through different challenges. But fine, it is part of the landscape and what we have to do. But we've also had to deal with, and we have successfully dealt with, some of our legacy issues. So some of our early people in the Chinese-speaking communities had some issues that we've kind of come up with a solution for. And we kind of have a roadmap going forward now that takes us back to our roots. And I'll talk about that more towards the end of the call. Now, the first thing I want to promote is our live seminar on the 11th of August in London. You can see that me here and Andy Hansen are highlighted on the agenda there, and I'll be there as well, because it's kind of on our hometown, in our home market, and important to sort of celebrate that, because this is kind of part of going into autumn. And I was speaking to a person who's very much into Chinese astrology and charts and feng shui and stuff, and they'd taken the liberty of looking at my chart, and they said, "You've had a tough year, haven't you? Because you've got 2 lucky stars this year." Fine, okay, whatever that means. But 2 stars that have supported you, and you've had 9 adversarial stars. You've had 9 stars in fighting against you. So you must have had a really tough time. No, and I said, well, it's been a challenging year so far. But they also said that from the 8th of August, when autumn officially starts in our Asia Pacific region, that's when everything changes, and you will then your luck will turn and everything will be fine. So that was very reassuring. So I was very, very pleased about that. So on the 11th of August, we have this live seminar in London, and very, very pleased about that, because we have got good momentum in the UK market now, great things happening, and doing a live seminar there, it's looking like we're going to have a very, very good turnout. And of course, all of you on this call internationally, all of you have connections in London, or you know people who have connections in London. So it's a great opportunity for you to get them along to a live seminar. And even if you have a live seminar ticket, you could treat them to a live seminar, which will knock their socks off. So put that date in your diary and get it done. Brazil, we're getting more and more excited about Brazil in the Leo building and the offices, because we're sort of seeing some of the pre-event site visits, some of the collateral coming through, some of the shots of the local environment, some collateral around the hotel or the resort itself, which will be taking over completely for Leo, and it is very, very cool. So you have until the 31st of October to qualify for this, and to get as many of your people qualified for this as possible, by introducing a new member, helping them go associate. Now, there's no limit to the number of tickets that you can earn, so you can earn tickets for yourself and your whole family if you want to. So go to Brazil2019.learnearnown.com and get the full scope of this. We create great marketing resources for you there, and it helps you dream build. It helps you sort of make it real in people's mind and get people goal setting around this. Now, sometimes it feels like it's a big task and these qualifications are so tough. When you decide to do it, the universe will move and help you. But the universe is waiting for your decision, and that's where many people fall over, where they say, well, if I achieve it, that'll be good, and if I don't, that's fine as well. You have to decide that you want it and move heaven and earth and work hard that you can achieve it, no matter who you are, no matter what market you're working. You can achieve helping someone go associate in this time frame, because we've seen it time and time again that people, when they make that decision, things just happen. Morocco, we've got a list of qualifiers now. It's looking like a very, very healthy list. Make sure that you go online if you're qualified and get your things sorted out. Do not leave this to the last minute. Some countries are easier than others to get the visas. None of them are sort of deal breaking, but you have to be on top of your game and not leave it to the last panic. Go to the website and make sure that you get it done. All right? Very important that you don't procrastinate on this. Digital market service. Giving you an early heads up that we are very, very happy with how the DMS has been a bridge for us to connect entrepreneurs living in 2018, connect them to an education around digital currencies and ability to access what this is all about. It's worked very, very well for us, and people are chanting DMS all the time. As you know from the last couple of weeks that I've been talking to you, it's been a tough place for us on many different levels, but in particular, we're finding it really hard to get hold of the hardware. At the moment, in most markets where you mine Bitcoin, you're actually mining them at a loss now at the price that Bitcoin is, which in markets where you can tap into free electricities and subsidies, it's a better scenario. But for the majority of the world's Bitcoin mining, it's a tough time, and that knocks onto the entire industry. It knocks onto hardware supplies, and one of the things that surprised us was how difficult it was to get hold of hardware to support this product. So that's why we have this time delay on when the service goes active for you, and it's painful, and it is what it is, because as a responsible company, we don't hump and dump and hype things out of proportion. We have to make sure that we can deliver. So I guess what I'm saying to you is I'm giving you a heads up here now in the beginning of July that come August, we're not quite sure how that go active date will play out. If it's looking like the difficulties we're having with getting hardware is going to be systemic or pervasive, we might have to really push it forward, which makes it almost makes it tough for you to sell. The commitment we have now is that if you purchase a DMS during July, the contract will start on the 1st of October with a reward due before October is up. So that we can stick to, because we've kind of made preparations and have worked our socks off to get to that stage. But come August, from where we are now, giving you an early heads up, it could be pushed out and extended quite a lot, because it really is quite difficult. So I kind of can't say fairer than that. That just giving you an early warning here that August might be a tough time to sell the DMS, because the realities of the logistics behind it might make us forced to take responsible decisions, if you like. Like I say, we're not going to just sort of sell it on a wing and a prayer and hope that everything is okay. We have to be responsible, because we are dealing with people and their hopes and their dreams for the future of themselves and their families. So just say. The other thing that's very, very cool now is that when we introduced the DMS, we had some people saying, oh, but what about LeoCoin? And we said that we have a community. We have a community that's engaged, and we're seeing examples of this every week. Now, on the 7th of July in Toronto, we opened our first Leo Coin store in Toronto, and this was an initiative by our Canadian team. And there's kind of a good little backstory to it, because the stone was speaking to someone who was an early member of Leo, and he went off and explored a couple of very attractive looking investment things that sounded almost too good to be true, but he kind of went off there, and lo and behold, not surprisingly, they were too good to be true, and they kind of fell over. And of course, Leo is still here, we're still battling away, we're still building a legitimate long-term business, and he kind of came back and has invested in setting up a convenience store in a body and foot massage center, hair salon, things where there's lots of footfall and lots of people coming through, children activity room, etc. And we have this now outlet that accepts B2C, Ethereum, and Leo Coin as a tender, and they're selling all sorts of things. And again, it's not. It's not a supermarket. It's not Tesco's, or it's not Sainsbury's, or it's not Delays or whatever. But it is another example of our community taking responsibility for developing the Leo Coin community, and I just love it because it's also a very strong signal that feeds into what I'm going to talk to you about towards the end of this presentation, because the merchant program is very important, and there's such a natural kind of awareness that merchants could be the key to everything, and we've had a foray into this with our early trial of a merchant program that was very, very successful, but we've learned lots from it as well, so that we can take that forward. So let's do that. Very, very cool to see the community engaging with this and doing something about Leo Coin, and instead of just sitting on their hands and waiting to become rich. And I'm particularly impressed with the commitment to cut Leo Coin symbols into your scalp, the lower right hand picture. And rumor has it, although I find it quite hard to believe, that stone is the person in the purple shirt there, and it's got a Leo Coin not exactly tattooed onto his head, but this is a fashion that could take off, I think, and that'll be kind of a cool thing to see. Not committing that I will do it, but it'll be fun to see at future events what people are doing with their hair. The UK Leaders Summit is in full swing for preparation now, and we are concerned that people are leaving it to the last minute in terms of organizing their visa and their travel. So you must get on it. Do not procrastinate, do not put it off, do not wait, because some of our markets have travel challenges that you need to deal with up front in terms of getting your visa. And it can be so frustrating and so hard if you live in certain markets. So it is what it is, but procrastinating will not help. Don't be that guy, don't be that girl that leaves it to the last minute and then comes crying and saying, oh, I couldn't get my visa. We will support you every which way we can with letters and support, but you have to do that work because you want to be a global entrepreneur. The starting point of that is sorting out your shit so that you can get a visa for travel. And that might be even a longer plan than for the UK Leader Summit. You might have to start to build up a track record where you can demonstrate weekly and monthly earnings, a regular income going into your business account, a business to support your Leo business. Don't treat this like a hobby, treat it like a business. That's the only way that you will become the international entrepreneur that you should be. So, in the news, and I'm going to invite Mr. Director of External Affairs, Mihir Magudia, to talk about this, but we've been online in the press again. Mihir, are you there?
Yes, I am. And it's this is one of my favorite stories that we've had recently, because it's about our members and it's about them being an example to the entire industry. It's about Rach David, who's, well, on this call today. So congratulations, Rach. It's about Leo Cat Margaret. It's about Leo as a leading company with the best members, the best leaders, the best mentors in the business. And it's great that we've got this sort of business. It's great that we can go out there and talk about Leo to anyone we meet in the world. There's nothing hidden about what we do. There's nothing secret about our business. We're open, we're transparent. Everything we've ever done is there for anyone to see. And so that means that journalists, that regulators, that all sorts of people come to us all the time with questions, asking us for case studies, asking us for examples, asking us what we're doing to lead the sector, what we're doing to turn this business on its head. And it's great that now, when they think of a good direct selling business, when they think of who they want to write about, they think about Leo. They think about Leo members. They think about what Leocat's done in Pakistan and how his story can help with their publication. Think about what Rach is doing in the Philippines and all around the world, and how her story, how her thoughts would be of value to this story. Because that's what we're talking about here. There's a journalist with a topic he wants to write about, and he has to make his story better. He has to make his story more interesting. He has to make his story more relevant to the people who are reading it. And he does that by talking to Leo members, by getting quotes and ideas from them, and by taking their stories and their comments to make his own story more valuable and more interesting. So it's a great endorsement of what we're doing. It's something to be very proud of. And again, Rachel on the call today, many congratulations for your appearance in this article. And there'll be many, many more, I'm sure.
Very, very good. No, I think it's fantastic because Leocat and Rach are such good leaders and such inspirations to many, many, many people for different reasons. But leadership is the gig. Leadership is our game. And we have a business model that rewards people for developing leadership skills and almost punishes them for not bothering. This is not just a game of selling a few products and signing up a few people. If you really want to have the success, you have to become a leader. And I quite like the theme of this article of being about mentorship. Your job is to mentor people because they become mentors in turn, and then you get duplication going of leadership principles. So it's very, very cool. And I'm very, very proud to be associated with people like Leah Margray and Rach David. So fantastic. Now, me here, can you help me set up the next slide and talk a little bit about the role and the entity that is LeoCoin Foundation? Because I know that our members are aware of it, kind of. But I think that some of them, or many of them, don't know it beyond just a title of something that kind of does something. So can you get into a little bit specifics on LeoCoin Foundation?
Yes, so of course. So the LeoCoin Foundation is one of the most important things about LeoCoin. It's the organization that oversees LeoCoin development. It oversees engagement with journalists and governments and regulators all around the world. It's the job of the LeoCoin Foundation to promote and protect LeoCoin, to help it on its journey, to help it fulfill its potential. So when we look at things like Digital Currency Day, which was the first of its kind in the UK, that was the LeoCoin Foundation creating that. When you see the pictures of these meetings with ministers and journalists and coverage that we're getting for LeoCoin, that's the LeoCoin Foundation that's doing it. And what's really exciting about the LeoCoin Foundation is that it is entirely a not-for-profit business. That means it has only one role, and that is to support and develop LeoCoin and digital currencies around the world. It's not out there to make lots of money. It's not allowed to make lots of money. All of its assets, all of its resources need to be fully focused on achieving these objectives for LeoCoin and for digital currency. So it does this with governments. It does this with media. It does this for the technology of the coin itself. It's the LeoCoin Foundation that helps set the white paper, the roadmap, the direction for the future of LeoCoin. And it's such an important aspect of the ecosystem because there's so many coins out there with no support. There's so many coins out there that have just been published, created, and then left to live or die on their own. With the foundation, we have a mechanism, we have a real company, we have a body with the muscle and the resources to ensure the eventual success of LeoCoin.
No, exactly that, exactly that. Thank you for that, because we've been speaking in foundation terms, me here, and we're discussing sort of where we need to take Leocoin next, because I think that there was a little bit of a sense that when we launched the DMS, people were thinking, yeah, but what about Leocoin? And what we know and what has been demonstrated so vividly by our community is that we have a committed community that is vested in the future success of Leocoin, and that doesn't go away. I've always said that the value of Leocoin will always be related to the size of the community. That gives the size of economy, gives the size of what the coin can do for people and businesses around the world. That will ultimately determine the value of Leocoin. Now, after 4 years, we have an incredible story of longevity in a very fluid and dynamic place called altcoins, or alternative digital currencies. And so we've stood the test of time there. We have an unbroken track record of being available on external exchanges where people can buy and sell Leocoin and get that converted into other digital currencies or into fiat itself. So we kind of, when we launched, we were just another altcoin, and of course we had people looking at us with a very cynical and skeptical view, thinking, oh yeah, here comes another pump and dump scheme. And I always appreciate a conversation that I had with me here in our early days. And he said, I'm not concerned about the accusations being a pump and dump scheme, because all we have to do is not be one, and then that eventually catches up. Now we have an incredible opportunity, because we've raised the profile of Leocoin through the work that we've done in PR terms, through the engagement that we've done in Washington and in London and all over the world, where Leocoin might not be this most amazing frothy thing that's worth $10,000 each yet, but we have a story of longevity, stability, and corporate responsibility almost in terms of the work that Leocoin Foundation has done. Now, the other thing that we did when we set up Leocoin Foundation was we wanted to make sure that it had resources with which to act. So if you look at the rich list of Leocoin wallets, you'll see that there is a Leocoin Foundation wallet that holds significant amounts of Leocoin with which to do the work of promoting and developing Leocoin. Where we are now is that we're looking at, for all that the Bitcoin market is a little bit under pressure, most pundits, most people who are predicting in this space are recognizing that it's far from over. And the fact that we're at sort of $6,500 today is an uplift from 12 months ago of 5 or 6 times the value that it had then. So it's not exactly like the sky is falling, although of course the market has done a price correction since January. And we've certainly felt that in terms of the DMS, etc., as well, that it's a different landscape now than it was then. But we're convinced, I'm personally convinced, that Bitcoin is far from over, and that we're going to see a rising tide now for the remainder of this year. The last half of 2018 will be a very interesting time. Right into that rising tide, we want to go to stage 3 of Leocoin. And that will involve technological enhancements and making sure that we catch the technological development that's going on in digital currencies. Because when we launched our first blockchain, it was a carbon copy of Bitcoin, and we made some changes to the thing, and we had all that script chain thing, I don't know if you remember, where we had some fairly hardcore mining going on with rising difficulties that caused challenges, and then we had issues around that. We migrated to a proof of stake model and changed the underlying architecture of Leocoin. It's now time to go to stage 3, and in a moving technological landscape, there is no time to wait. We might have a very long-term vision of where we hope that Leocoin will be if we work hard and do the right things in 100 years, but we have to be very, very sharp and agile on our feet. So stage 3 is coming. It'll involve things like smart contracts. It'll involve things to do with the merchant program. It'll involve things to help Leocoin Foundation do its work, and it'll involve getting onto a platform that is bigger and better than what we have now. And we've got a couple of, there's a big work stream going on now where we're looking at what this means, but on this call today, in the first week of July, beginning of July, I'm telling you that this is going to come quickly. And that's all I'll say about that. But this is kind of an early heads up that, in a sense, we're going back to our roots, because all of us are stakeholders in LeoCoin and the LeoCoin community, and we want to see it do well. So we know that we are preaching to converted, and we are going to be launching then, in the last half of this year, a massive marketing campaign around the stage 3 innovations of LeoCoin to take it all to another level. We want to give you tools and story and marketing collateral to speak to anyone about this, so that some of the efforts that the community is already doing will become easier and easier and easier. When we have then a hardcore merchant program that works, where we can create smart contracts around that, where we can create escrow accounts of gradual release of rewards, where we don't have to in any way give up on the proof of stake concept that we had, because I think that's been very, very successful for us. We are going to take LeoCoin to the next level. And we know, again, like I said before, we're preaching to converted, so we know that all of you will get your heads around this very, very quickly, because you've been here for a long time. And so you know how to market and sell this. And when you come back with some great news that we're now going to the next level, we're going to stage 3 of this, get on before it's too late, you will have a very easy sell of this. So this is kind of early warning that some big things are happening that you will be incredibly excited by, and it will give you something that you can really get your teeth into and do some damage out there and take LeoCoin Foundation, or LeoCoin rather, LeoCoin community and Leo to the next level. So all of this sits in with our strategies around the DMS, sits in with the Leo Gold and the combination of digital and gold. And we still have development going on in terms of our gold-backed crypto idea. And so that's kind of funky and cool. But we're going back to our roots, which is LeoCoin. So qualify for everything. Make sure that you're there. Make sure that you drive your team. And this is Dan Anderson saying thank you very much for your kind attention on this call, and all is good. So thanks very much indeed, and I'll speak to you again next week, and I very, very much look forward to drip feeding you more and more things over the next over the subsequent GAMs that we're running. So all good, and catch you all later.